Hello, I'm Rick Steiner, and welcome to Lux Life Discovered. Our guests today are Dennis Martin and Danielle Shane. They're both from Pierce Bespoke, and so we're glad to have you with us today.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
Dennis, you were on with us previously and talked about how you started this company and you making such a big impact on the Gulf Coast region. So tell me what all has transpired since then, because you're really doing well in this area.
Yeah, so we really introduced our men's custom line to the Gulf Coast in January of this year. We've got some limited shopping options between Mobile, Alabama, and Panama City, Florida. So we really thought that it was a great market to be in. We started this business in Fort Worth, Texas, which is the 12th largest city in the country, and moved this way for family reasons, and really surprised at the great audience that we've gotten over here. And so we've really been pleased with it. That's on the men's side of things. We were fortunate enough last month to introduce our female line as well. So everything that we could do for a men's suit, or suiting, I should say, we can now do for a female. So it really opens us up. And I think that we really see a greater need for custom female clothing on the Gulf Coast than we did even for men's.
Right? Did that surprise you?
I guess, again, we moved here in December, started really growing our business here in January. I guess it would have surprised me in January, February, March, April, but now that boots have been on the ground and I've seen what's not out there for females, today it doesn't surprise me, but it would have surprised me in January.
Interesting. So Danielle, that's where you're coming in. Are you representing mainly the female market, or you're going to do both markets?
Yes, sir. So I technically will serve both. I have no problem. I kind of started out with the custom clothing, helping men primarily, but I really found my passion whenever we started moving towards the women's side. And I think, as a lady, if you go to a Dillard's or a different, department store, they actually use the men's model and they cut down the sizes to make women's suiting. And so, as we all know, women are built completely different than men. And so, we are curved in different areas. And so it's very hard to find something that fits the way that you would want it to, besides going custom. And I think whenever I was introduced to my first custom garment, it just totally changed my life. I mean, flipped my world upside down, because I thought, I never knew that I could look this nice in a custom suit. I just thought, well, if you wear a suit, you're going to look very boxy, and, it is more professional, but it's still like, as a lady, you still want that feminine side, that where you look and you feel good in a suit. So it's been a great, process for me to kind of learn the women's side of the industry as well.
Yeah, and I think, to piggyback off what Danielle said, one of the words she said there was passion. And I think that from the male side of things, I have the passion for the male side, and she has the passion for the female side. So I think it's just a really good combination on the Gulf Coast, having a male that's passionate about the male side of custom clothing, and a female that's passionate about the female side of custom clothing.
Right. Have you been surprised at the level of people or the number of people that have been impressed and interested in the custom suit options?
Our market is very unique. We don't, Mobile, Alabama is different than Pensacola, Florida. Pensacola, Florida is different than Santa Rosa Beach. They're all different. And, and I talked about the last time we were on the call, is that people may tell you that, well, I don't wear a suit you know, very much anymore. But as I expressed to you, people are still getting dressed up, right? It doesn't,
Right.
you know, dress codes are a little bit more lax than they were 20 years ago, but people still want to look good. And that can be, you know, anywhere from a CEO to, you know, a blue collar guy that may go out once you know, once a year, twice a year, whatever. So our clientele just varies. It's still that professional working person, but I'm always surprised that when I'm somewhere and I run into someone at whatever event it may be, and I tell them what we do, and they're very intrigued and they want to they want to be a part of it. They want to buy into it because they probably, you know, even with a male, everybody's body is unique. So maybe they've never had clothes that have fit them correctly. One of the first sales that Danielle made when she was with us was with an attorney who we delivered his suits, and he goes, I never knew clothes could fit like this. So you know, people are very receptive, especially once they get in it. And I'll let you chime in on that from what he asked.
Yeah, and definitely, especially as a female, you know, coming into that, you don't realize something because you've never had it. And so I think with this guy that we were talking about in particular, you know, even his wife, when she came home and saw it, she was like, wow, like that looks so nice on you. And he's like, you know, Danielle, like I have worn a suit for 20 plus years, and she has never been like that, you know, attracted to me in a suit. And so that's what's really cool about our jobs, is because we kind of get to make that dream become a reality for them, because then they don't have to go to the store, they don't have to waste time, you know, looking through clothing, trying to find something that decently fits. It's something that's actually made for them with their own measurements, their own preferences of fabrics and colors and everything. So
You brought out a good point. That's what I was just going to say. Most of the time we go and purchase a suit and it's based on the size we had previously, maybe waist different in the past, but everything else is just kind of like run of the mill. And so it looks good compared to what we had before, but you're bringing it to where for men and women, it looks good based on you, not the standard.
absolutely. And I think for ladies too, and men, I think, you know, once they try on something that's actually fitted to their own body, it brings out a whole different feeling of, you know, like they got to be a part of the making of something that was for them. And so they're way more proud to wear it, and they're more likely to, you know, share it with their friends because they're excited. I mean, they want to tell everyone about the fun suit that they just designed.
Right,
So
having
it's really
a little
cool.
more confidence when they wear the suit, and plus with all the different, like the linings and everything, make it more personal, and so that also stands out. So I know that with men's, there's a lot of different fabrics, a lot of different colors. Um, Women's has that, I'm sure, has even more options.
So we actually have about the same amount
Okay,
of options. I just think that, you know, girls can sometimes be a little more bold with what colors and, you know, patterns that they wear. Whereas with men, you know, most men are a little bit more conservative and like to keep things a little more subtle. But for ladies, the world is their oyster.
Well, I mean, just simple stuff. I mean, show them what you do with this blazer and, you know, what we do with, you know, even the buttonholes on the jacket. I mean, if you can see that, they're three different colors
okay,
that complement this fabric.
Mhm.
And, you know, that screams individuality. It screams custom. And then, you know, these are functional buttons. So
And you
even
can
ladies, if they want to show a
tuck it.
little bit of, you know, of the inside, they can do that. But Daniel, talk about the functionality that we've been talking about with what we can do with a female's wardrobe, from the office to a night on the town to business casual at the office. What the small amount of things that they can do to make their wardrobe expand. You call that a capsule.
Capsule.
Yeah.
So one of the great things that I like to work with, both with my male and female clients, is I tell them I want to create a capsule for you. So within that capsule, say it's 4 to 6 suits. So we may have a navy, a black, a tan, and then a fun suit. Or if we have 6, we'll go in more from there. But say like this jacket, for instance, it's got a pattern to it. So I can wear it as a blazer on a Friday. Like today I have on some black jeans and I have a pair of heels. So I can wear it on Fridays where it's way more casual, or I can throw on a button-down shirt underneath it with my suit pants that go with it. And then it's more of like, I'm here to, I'm here to do business. So I think, with just that one simple suit, or I can wear just the pants with just a single top, whether that's a tank top or a button down, it can totally just change the feel of the outfit. So depending on what event you're going to, you can take that one suit and break it into 4 or 5 different outfits that you can wear throughout the week. And
That's
I
good,
think
yeah.
And it's really the same with the male as well. I mean, I could take this tie off and it totally changes things. But even with what we do, the buttons on this shirt, I mean, people get to pick the buttons on this. You're not going to go to a department store and find a light blue shirt with pink buttons on it. No, that's not for everybody. Somebody may want, a dark blue button. That's fine. We can do that. But going back to your point about going to a department store and having a finite selection of items to choose from, we exponentially grow that 2,500 times what you could get, in the department store, especially store, because you get to build your own clothes. And it's really fun when people say, what do you do? Oh, we're in the fashion business. Well, what do you mean you're in the fashion business? Well, we build clothing. We build custom clothing. That's what we do.
So when you're with your custom suits, I noticed that you do a lot with a younger crowd, the athletes. What are that's where that's where they're a little more bold with their choices. So I'm sure that has to be fun watching them kind of watch their personality come out in their selections.
It's funny from a male standpoint, and I'll let Danielle talk to the female perspective on this. But so when we expanded to the Gulf Coast in January, one of the markets that we weren't in was the wedding market. And so we took part in a wedding show in Pensacola, Florida on January the 8th of this year. We had 369 brides come through, some with the future groom, some without. Most of these were very blue collar guys. And it's amazing to see them. For most, they've never had a suit before. They've never had a sport coat. So to sit down with somebody and see the level of detail that they put into building their suit for their wedding is really an incredible sight. They have been much more, they've been much more, I would say, detail oriented than our white collar CFO, CEO, lawyer who most of the time defers back to their wife or someone in their office than this guy that's had their first suit before.
That's interesting. Yeah.
And I would say, with off of that, even with the men, I think it's a little fun too, just to kind of push some of the guys slightly out of their comfort zone. And when I say that, as in, okay, well, instead of just a navy, what if we do a navy with a texture? And it's like, to them, they're like, oh, I didn't even think about that. To them, that's like creating a whole new piece that they've never even thought of. But then whenever you do the small accents, like I always like to do the last button a different color. And so I say, well, what if we do just a different shade of blue? So if someone was sitting beside you, they would know that it was custom because they're like, hey, that blue is a different color than your suit. But to them, it's like they get that satisfaction of being like, yeah, I actually picked that out, like I think it's cool to watch the men kind of get excited over those little details as
Yeah.
well.
And as far as athletes go, we are now the official suit maker of the University of South Alabama basketball team. So, so we went in and we did 12 suits. We're doing 12 suits for the basketball players, and we're doing 8 for the coaches. And I knew that I'd be walking into an all-day deal if I let 20 people select from 25 different fabrics or 2,500 different fabrics. They'd never get to, the coaches would be mad at me because they wouldn't get to practice. So Danielle and I came up with the idea of like, okay, guys, these are going to be your away game uniforms, basically, when you go away. So why don't we design a South Alabama away game uniform for you? So we did basically the blue and pinstripe colors of the South Alabama team. That's what their logo is. And then we did a white lapel hole. And then we did 3 that were white here and then 1 red. So red, white, and blue are their team colors. And then we even have you asked me about the pocket square, how important that was the last time we were on a call. So we're actually building it to where they've got a silk handkerchief embedded in the pocket where they can pull it out and use it or not use it.
Okay. So again, it's all about the attention to details. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then what were you gonna say, Danielle? I cut you off. Sorry about
Oh
that.
no, it's okay. No, I was gonna say with the pocket puff, I always feel like that's a fun little addition, because if they pick out, like a red liner and you are at a wedding and you were like, oh shoot, I forgot my pocket square. It's actually made into the jacket. So you can just pull it out and you can fold it up or
Yeah.
just leave it. Or you can just tuck it back in and then it just looks like a regular jacket. So you have the options there.
It's nice. What do you think the biggest surprise has been so far, Dennis, since you started this?
Since I've started this business, I think that, just the fit and the clientele that we have, it's just all over the board. All the way from Texas, we also have Oklahoma that we're in, and then the Gulf Coast. Just the total variability of the client base that we have. And so much of it sometimes depends on someone's body type than it does their actual fashion or style. Again, we're dressing people and they're experiencing something that they've never experienced before, which is the clothing actually fits them. And there's one thing to have a good looking piece of fabric and great buttons that go with it. But if it doesn't fit right, if you don't look good in it, nothing else matters.
Right. Well, and that, like I mentioned too earlier, once you have something that fits and it's a custom fit and it complements you in every way possible, you should have more confidence when you wear it.
That's right. And the other thing about us is that we're a concierge service. I mean, we're a modern day tailor because we don't have storefront. So we're going to go to you when you need us. Not, if I try to go to Dillard's at 8 o'clock in the morning, which is, when I have time, I'm not going to be able to get what I want. If a client needs to come to us or to them at 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning, we're there. We get it done. We get it knocked out. During COVID, we discovered a concierge MD practice where the doctor came to us, and I thought, man, this is no different than what we do. I mean, except we're not administering drugs and healthcare. We're administering clothing. So, what we do on the concierge side of things and from a service standpoint and from a convenience standpoint, you throw on top of that the customability of what we do, and then you throw on the confidence of what we can offer people. Those are the 3 things we really sell.
Right. And tell people also, explain to them, people that are not familiar with how you do your service. Like you said, there are no storefronts. So you actually go to their office or their homes whatever's convenient for them, right?
That's exactly right. So again, everything's custom. So we work out of a very large trunk, trunk. Sometimes people think we come to them in a F-150 with these fabrics, but it's a large trunk. And in that trunk are the 2,500 fabrics that they get to choose from. They can build anything from a three-piece suit to a tuxedo to just a sport coat, a pair of pants. We also have 4 books of shirts that they get to choose from. So they've got a lot of different options, and that's how we start to build their clothing, and then we take measurements. We start at the neck, and we do the chest, the overarm, the bicep, the wrist, the seat, the shoulders. We do the thigh, we do the calf. So we do several other measurements. But the measurements to us are, that's the other thing that we do to ensure the fit. Anything you want to add to that I left out?
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that we do, take that extra mile to take those extra measurements, it's going to also provide just kind of the comfort for our clients as well, because then they know that what we're doing, we're taking time and we're going to make it right. And so once they know that it's truly custom, it's fitted for them, if there's any sort of little tweaks or anything that we have to do, it's super minor. And so they kind of know, like they have that almost like satisfaction behind there because they already know that what we're going to provide is what they're looking for.
One thing I want to add before we forget, if you don't mind, Rick, is that there's also a level of comfortability that both men and women need to have when you're going to someone's home or their office. If we go and visit with someone, especially if it's a female, we like for Danielle and myself to go along just to provide a level of comfort. And it's the same with men. We like to do it as a team so that my wife may not appreciate that, I've got a female coming to my office. So we like to work in tandem to make sure that we don't have any issues. We're sensitive to those issues. The other thing is I've got clothiers like I said, in Texas, and I certainly don't want female clients going to meet with someone that they've never met with. Now, once the relationship's established and they have that rapport, then that's fine. But we really try to be sensitive to our clients in that regard as well.
Because you want to build that trust in that relationship.
Right. Now that's very good. Very good point. So, goodness, you've accomplished so much already. The women's line, I didn't even think about when we talked previously. What do you see going forward? What do you think is on the horizon for you?
I think we've got as much on our plate as we can handle, right? I mean, we just doubled our market.
Yeah.
Before we just had male. So I think Danielle and I have a lot to do. We'll continue to build out our team between Mobile and Panama City. So we certainly anyone that sees this call and is interested in becoming a custom clothier, we could use some help. We could use some more people, along the coast that we can train and work with, because there's only so much Danielle and I can do. So
right. Well, you've got a big market that you cover too. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so it's a large market. I mean, and we've got clients all the way from Mobile to Panama City. So we've got a lot ahead of us. We've got a lot of work to do. We're only 9 months and some change into the market down here. So we hope that people will continue to see the value. I think things like this, just getting the awareness out of what we do is kind of what we're trying to do. We try to be very involved in the communities. We're a member of the Panama City Chamber of Commerce. I'll probably join the Pensacola Chamber of Commerce next year. We're a member of the Eastern Shore Chamber of Commerce. We're a member of the Mobile Chamber of Commerce. So that's just a way for us. The more people we know is a correlation to how strong our business is going to be, because it is a relationship business and we have to get the word out, meet as many people as we can.
It's all about networking.
It's all about, she calls
Oh,
it
it
floating.
is.
She calls it floating. So,
Floating, yeah.
I call
so
it floating just because I feel like I've always been kind of like a butterfly. And so, you know, if someone's standing beside me and I think they look nice, I have no problem with saying, "Oh my gosh, hi, like I really love your sport coat. Like, where did you get it?" And so it's just kind of
And
one of
that
those,
opens up a whole conversation and
yep.
you never know where
Because
it's gonna
then
go. Yeah.
exactly. They immediately are like, "Oh my gosh, like what do you do?" And I'm like, "Well, what do you do?" You know, so it's
Yeah.
I want to hear about them, and then it's just kind of fun to then say, "Oh, well, I actually do custom clothing," because then they have no idea that that was even, you know, a part of this area.
All
So
right.
it's really cool to introduce that to them.
Well, great. Well, we're going to put your information on the screen so that people will know how to contact you. So, John, do you have that?
It's up, Rick.
Okay. So then, you guys, I know you do a great job seeing some of your work. It's very impressive, and I wish you the best on everything that you have going and everything that is ahead for you.
thank you, Rick. Appreciate you having us. You guys have a good weekend, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
You're welcome. Well, that's our episode of Lux Life Discover today. We thank you for joining us, and we'll see you soon.